Hype, the oh-so-wonderful built-up action that can create positive rewards and benefits for the rightfully entertaining game. Or it can also be a curse to the money-headed developers producing a cash grab. Is it hype that has lightened the expectations for games in our current generation, or is it that most of these developers are losing true intentions to create a game that piques more than just the simple interest, but rather entertainment for thousands to millions of people to enjoy? Curiously, as I dove into a couple of forums for games that I previously played pretty heavily, but was turned off due to several, I guess I'll say, mistakes, and saw that their current community are still filled with longtime players actually complaining. Recently, it seems that a lot of people are fed up with being let down, specifically after the disaster behind Black Desert's downfall, that I feel people are actually holding back on trying new MMOs, so instead of, trying new MMOs, they're sticking with what's normal to them. There are a lot of MMOs that are coming out within the next year or so that I think are worthy of at least trying, but often I see people regret the decision of putting in time because they feel it will be wasted into a game that is saying more that they can deliver, whether it be the publisher, developer, or collectively. Although I would agree, I wouldn't want to waste time in a game that I don't see myself playing for a long amount of time, but I think some of these MMOs are being turned away of or from because of the past mistakes by companies in the MMO genre. So this brings up the question once again, which indeed has become a conundrum? Are the developers at fault, or are us, the players of the community, at fault for creating such high expectations for these new MMOs coming out? Money is a beautiful thing, I'm sure we can all agree on that, but when it leads an individual or a group of people, in this case it's a development team, it can alter the motivation for what these developers are developing. This also affects where the companies put their focus into. If companies are trying to build hype for their upcoming game, they are going to sell it to their best of ability because they want the money, and this is where a lot of the complaining starts and begins. Once a team doesn't deliver on features within the game, the backlash starts, and most likely it does not stop. They stack problem after problem on top of each other to throw shade at the companies, which I will say most of the time is actually deserved, because if you do not deliver on features that you will say will be in the game, I believe you should receive some sort of criticism or possibly feedback, but it does end up becoming backlash to show the companies that they aren't doing everything they said they would. Now my focus is on the underlying motivation that developers have in our current generation of games, because it is so often seems that the reason we discuss if a game is pay to win nowadays or not is due to the debatable items that these companies are starting to put in their games. With each year, companies are providing more and more options to gain benefits in their games, such as being a free-to-play title or possibly a buy-to-play title where you can subscribe for more items or rewards, then possibly getting the option to purchase bundles or game boxes for more items. And then of course you have the microtransactions, which let you buy more things in the game to, just either cosmetics, aesthetics, and stuff like that. If companies are providing more options for items, benefits, or whatever it is, then I would hope that these companies would stray away from implementing the items that create these unfair advantages, but as we have seen time and time again, that just does not seem to be the case anymore. So let me put the pieces together. Hype generated and pushed by developers should be taken with a little bit more understanding, in which I think people should hold out before they spend money on Kickstarters or pre-purchasing, because simply you just don't know until you try it. If money wasn't so important, then we would be able to see a different avenue for how these MMOs are being developed nowadays, but unfortunately, sometimes we just face the wrath of these game companies to the point where they completely destroy a game through cash shop implementations, like we have seen with many MMOs. Honestly, it's too many to list, but I'm sure most of you are more than aware of all of the failures and big mistakes that these companies have made throughout the past couple of years. Okay, so be careful of hype. Like I said in the beginning, it would be, or it could be, a wonderful thing for a game, or it could also just be a rather big curse. So if you really are unsure about a game, then I would say wait it out a little bit until you can make the right decision. I have wanted to spend money on most of the AAA MMOs that have come out in the past 4 or 5 years, 6 years or so, but instead I didn't really react on my initial instinct. I waited until closer to release to see if it will be an investment where I know I'll play this game for a long amount of time. I would like to know how you guys feel about hype. Is it true to the game and deserved, or is the hype built primarily to gain larger sales? Let me know in the comment section below. That's gonna do it for me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.